Hello. Today I'm gonna show off my journal use Gyre build here. So for Auger shards, I use 2 Tau Forge Purple, either ability damage or primary electric damage, either one of your choice, depending on if you want to rely more on the abilities, your 3 and your 4 to damage, or if you want to rely more on your primary. I use another build that is a pure ability build, so I use ability here. So for these 2 Tau Forge Red shards, you can actually put whatever you want here. If you want changes to duration, you can. If you want to put the other 2 purple shards here, if you want to put 2 purple equilibrium shards, you can. These 2 shards are just useful for... I need them for another build I use that has pillaged. You hit that 328% strength for the pillage strip. But if you're not running pillage, you can put whatever here. And then 1 Tau Forge Yellow Casting Speed shard is required here. Not required, but good quality of life. So for the build here, so a couple things that look kind of weird is battery here. So if you're wondering why I'm running arcane battery, it's because this brings me up to 272 armor, or energy, which is the exact amount of energy I need for when I have full energy to cast both Cathode Grace and Border Swell at the same time without needing to go and pick up more energy, which is something that is very annoying when you don't run any energy. If you cast your 3 accidentally first, and then you run out of duration before you can even cast your 4. So yeah, Arcane Battery fixes that. 272 is exactly, you end up needing 271.25 in order to cast both of these, so works out perfect. We have Circumvent here, Circumvent with Rolling Guard, and with Arcane, or Melee Careen on your melee weapon. Gives you good CC, good survivability, and that combined with the Epitaph here with Fortifier gives you 2 different ways to get Overguard. If you don't care about the energy thing, you could also replace this with something like Truculence. Also, since you have 2 ways of getting Overguard, this will be constantly proccing, and you'll constantly be Vile priming everything. For the aura here, I use Glowing Power. If you want to, for the more strength for Roar, if you want to use something like Corrosive Projection, you can. It doesn't matter too much. If you want to use Brief Respite, you can also to get that little bit of shield gating, but I find this is enough survivability for like EDA, ETA level things. And yeah, we're using both the augments here. So with this augment, we basically never have to cast it. We only have to cast these once, and we just have to worry about casting our Roar and our Arc Sphere. And then with Conductive Sphere, it's giving us that weapon bonus damage to Arc Sphere. And that pairs very well with the Cathode Grace giving us increased critical chance for double being on those electric procs. Plus we have Arc Sphere giving us guaranteed electric damage and electric procs when combined with our Amprex here, giving us also way more electric. So Amprex also has a pretty decent base critical chance and critical damage. So this ends up red critting with everything active. Not to mention with Melee Careen, it freezes enemies and gives us 2.5 damage if we want to use our melee weapon. This is basically a generic influence Wolf Sludge. You can put anything here. But yeah, so when this freezes enemies, if you don't know, frozen enemies. Let's get electric. Cold damage here. Cold causes enemies to get increased critical damage by 10% for a stack and 5% every additional stack, doubled when frozen. So when they're frozen, having 10 stacks of cold, they actually get 100% more critical damage, which on the Amprex, 100% is adding 2.2 times. So this basically will have, this already has 2.2 times due to, or 1.2 due to Tenacious, so this will be another 2.2 up to an 8.2 times critical damage. This is also, like I said, going to be red crits. So yes, this ends up doing very good damage. Speaking so of a Tenacious Bond, using my worm here that I always use, with again Prime Laser Rifle with the Vidry set. So, show off the build here. As you can see, I have just enough energy to cast both of these. Get this up. Power thing down. And as it gets active, there's constantly red crits. And that is without rolling through them. So now once I actually properly roll through them and get all my other arc spheres down, very much shreds groups, and these are level 205 Steel Path modifier corrupted heavy gunners, so they are more tanky than 90% of what you're going to be facing. Want a better example of like what you will be facing in the actual mission? Be something like this. And as you can see, these guys are dying just from the arc spheres and my ability alone. I don't even need to shoot them to do the damage. Yeah, show the overguard here. Roll through, and there's 10,000 overguard. So, melee circumvent gets to 10,000. Your epitaph, however, gets to 15,000. Oh, ran out of overguard. So this gets to 15,000. So you can get up to 15,000 with this. And then if you don't know how the wolf sledge works, I forget what attack it is, but yeah, that attack there, where you throw it sort of like a glaive. You can then middle mouse and explode it like a glaive. And if you want to use that, that is a good attack to do when throwing through your... Oops. V. Get 2 up, get this thing up. And it's much better with melee influence actually on it, but it does throw things around and do really fun things. Because it throws things around, you could also run afflictions on this if you don't want Korean. You can run either influence or you can run afflictions because you are knocking them around. Yeah, I like the Korean because I'm mainly just using my Amprex or Epitaph. Yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching.